What stands out to you about that Florida team this year?
Well, I think they play extreme. You know, they very well coached. They have some instinctive rebounders that are relentless on the board, and that's probably they're one of the top rebounding teams in the country. That seems to be a strength of theirs. And seems to be an area in our game that we got to improve on. And but I thought they execute very well. They're a strong defensive team. They seem to have the right combination of guys that can create and guys who are good shooters. It's probably one of the bigger Florida teams that we played against. They seem to have, when you started with 6'6" kids, 116, 111 guys. And at the post, which obviously we're not as tall as what we normally have been, but they are executing their system very, very well. And it's been an outstanding rivalry, I think, over the years. And I expect it to be another one of those types of games.
Is it hard to know how you guys are going to handle going on the road for the first time with some new faces?
I've never been one to worry about whether you're home or on the road. We try to let our guys know the course 94 by 50 and the goals are 10 feet. Nobody's going to run out of the stands and block a shot or get a steal. However, from a coaching standpoint, it's easy to say it. But when you have a combination of basically inexperienced players and first-year players, sometimes it's a little more challenging for those guys going on the road. And we've had our moments when we've gone on the road and some of the guys didn't adjust to it mentally and emotionally. But I got a hunch that, we got a few guys who have played a little bit, and we don't have that many freshmen. We have some first-year players, but not as many freshmen. So this will be a good opportunity for us to be put in a situation where we have to learn to grow up and compete in a hostile environment.
You spoke on the height disadvantage. I know you guys like to get back on defense from offense, but how do you kind of try to balance it to get guys to attack the boards while also not giving something up defensively?
Well, we normally don't change very much. Our system normally works. We just have to get guys instinctively and consistently going to the offensive boards, but also because they push the ball, we got to get back on defense. But we play against a lot of people in the ACC that have similar philosophies. A team that gets out and runs, tries to score in transition or score early in the offense, and then once they get in the half court, they do a good job of moving and executing the ball. So we got to go to the offensive boards when we're on offense, and we got to block out when we're on defense. That's simple. That's something you have to do all the time. So it should not be anything different than what we normally concentrate on.
What does this rivalry mean to you and to the school?
Well, obviously, from a rivalry standpoint, school, alumni, fans, they really, really get into it. From our standpoint, I try not to allow ourselves to get too hyped up for one opponent more than another, because I think you have ups and downs and highs and lows. We want to be emotionally ready for every game. Quite naturally, it's hard to do when you're dealing with an in-state rival like Florida. And those games mean an awful lot to our fans and for our alumni, and we're treated as such.
And then just playing the back-to-back, the women's game and the men's game, what are your thoughts on that? Just have that environment in one.
Well, I just found out that the women were playing a couple of days ago. I didn't know that was part of the deal, to be honest with you. But I'm sure it adds a lot of atmosphere to their campus, having both Florida State teams there at the same time. But for us, we got to go out and compete, under whatever circumstances that we're facing. But I'm sure it'll mean a lot more to them. I'm sure they get hyped up on it. But from our standpoint, we just got to be ready to play. I'm sure our women will be ready to play, and we got to make sure we're ready.
With Josh and Jameer having so much experience in college basketball before, are they learning? Even though they're new players, are they is the learning speed maybe faster once you start playing games?
Well, I think that the biggest adjustment, even experienced players like them, is just adjusted to their teammates, a new system, a new style of play, and they become accustomed to playing in other systems, and now all of a sudden you got to learn all the different angles and what your different teammates can do, and you got to play, not only be aggressive and try to be productive yourself, but you also have to learn to try to create for your teammates and understand how to play with different players. And that's an ongoing challenge for us with this particular team because we have a lot of our new guys we're depending on. Hopefully we'll have Gainey at some point. Hopefully we're still hopeful that we'll get Primo back. And so we still have a lot of moving parts on our team. And we have some young guys that are getting ready. And we have a new guy on our team named Bubba Miller. He's not the same guy that he was last year, so he's a new player.
He's back there laughing at you. You mentioned after the game Jalen had a checkup. How did that go?
Jalen?
Yeah, Gainey. You said that he was.
Oh, no,
going
I
in
haven't
to
talked to anybody
Okay.
about that yet. But I'm sure he's not full go, but I think he's making progress. I'm hopeful that they'll let him be a little bit more active now with the progress that he's made, and that's a good sign.
Can the depth component of this roster help from a rebounding standpoint? Because you're just going to have to throw maybe a lot more bodies out there to fight them on the boards.
We hope so. We really do. And the biggest challenge that I see with this team is that we still trying to get in sync. You know, still trying to learn how hard you can go for how long, adjusting to the right way to utilize what appears to be a lot more depth than what we've had in the last year or so. Also, just trying to blend our skills in with our system. You know, I mean, it's not as easy as one would think when you're not only learning the system, but you learn to play with new teammates. And it's going to take several more games for us to kind of get in sync there. We're making progress, but we're not quite there yet.